can put two sentences together, the different pronouns we can use, etc. So, for example, in the sentence, do you know the boy? You would say, which boy? And it could be the tall boy, the boy sitting at the desk, the boy in black, or the boy who is playing with Jamie. Well, the who is playing with Jamie, this is a relative clause because it's a clause that substitutes an adjective. So we can have a subject relative clause or an object relative clause. If we have a subject relative clause when the relative pronoun refers to what works as the subject, whereas in the second one the relative pronoun refers to the object, since in this second sentence Helen is the subject. Now we have two different types of relative clauses, defining and non-defining. The defining relative clauses provide essential information to identify the person, thing, or place we are talking about. For example, the woman who or that does my hair has just had a baby. In this sentence, if we don't explain who the woman is, we wouldn't know who she is. That's why this is essential information. Whereas in the non-defining clause, they provide additional or extra information about the person, thing, or place we are talking about. This is not essential. So, for example, Dorothy, who does my hair, has just had a baby. In this case, Dorothy is a proper name, so that is explanatory itself. Who does my hair is just information we want to provide, but it's not necessary. Now, we can use all these pronouns for the relative clauses. So, for people, we can use who or that if they work as the subject, who, that, or we can omit the pronoun if they work as the object, and we can use whose to indicate possession. And for things, we would use which instead of who, and then also that for the subject, and which, that, or we omit the pronoun for the object. And whose to indicate possession, we could also use where, when, or that, or we omit the pronoun again, or why. And in the non-defining relative clauses, we cannot use that, we cannot omit the pronoun, and you have to use commas. So this is very easy to recognize since they go between commas. So now we have here some examples. So we say, for example, that's the man, he works here. He is referring to the man. So this is he is the subject of this sentence. So this would be a subject relative clause, and we would use that's the man who works here, or as we said, that's the man that works here. However, if we go to the second one, I met him at the party yesterday. In this case, what refers to the man is the object. So this is an object relative clause. And if we can put those two together, we would say that's the man who I met at the party yesterday. We could also use that, or we could omit the it's on the table, so the book which is on the table is very valuable. We could also use that. We go to the second one, he has bought it, so the object here is what refers to the book, so the book which he has bought is very valuable. Notice that the it disappears because it's substituted by which. The book that he has bought is very valuable, the book he has bought is very valuable. I'm looking for it, so this it again is what refers to the book, so it disappears from here and we use which or that or nothing. And notice that the for remains after looking. Finally, non-defining relative clauses. We've got La Sagrada Familia, which is already, we know what we are talking about because it's got the proper name, we all know that building. So, it's a famous monument. We can add extra information. We can say that it's in Barcelona or that Gaudí never finished it. So we could say La Sagrada Familia, which is in Barcelona, is a very famous monument. As you can see, it goes between brackets. Between commas. We cannot use that and we cannot omit the pronoun. And La Sagrada Familia, which Gaudí never finished, is a very famous monument. Again, here that is an object relative clause. We cannot omit the pronoun because it's a non-defining, and we can only use which.